Hi everyone, this is my last vlog for the module Viral Video Production at Lancaster University, and the reading for this week is called What Comes After Remix by Manovich. Manovich starts by saying how in contemporary society we live in a remix culture where cultural and lifestyle arenas such as music, fashion, design art, web applications and user-created media are governed by remixes, fusions, collages or mashups. We have noticed this across the range of topics we have explored on this module, from the glitch art to the music and political video mashups and to the web application mashups such as the Vine. I agree with Manovich that remix will continue to dominate in the present decade as we are constantly being introduced to brand new technology, allowing us to experiment with what we remix and how we remix. As I discussed in week 9's vlog, Instagram videos can be considered a type of regenerative remix. This form of technology was only introduced in June of 2013, which shows how remix culture is still continuing to expand, showing how it is still thriving today. Manovich talks about a few examples of how remix continues to expand in different cultural arenas. I have found some similar but more contemporary examples of my own. Manovich uses a fashion remix example of John Galliano's 2004 to 2005 winter collection. Another fashion remix that I have found similar to this was the 2013 Victoria's Secret fashion show, where lingerie styles were mixed with elements such as sport, the military, nation, and even nature. These examples show how remix culture can even expand to arenas such as fashion, and that remix is still ever present. Manovich also uses examples such as DJ Spooky's feature-length remix of D.W. Griffith's 1912 Birth of the Nation, which he appropriately renamed Rebirth of the Nation. Manovich reminds us that there is a variety of remix cultures out there, such as political remix videos, anime music videos, infrastructure hacks, along with a growing number of software applications that remix data, so-called software mashups. Many of these examples have been explored in this module. According to the programmable website, an estimated 3 new web application mashups are published every day. This proves how remix culture is still domineering today and continues to expand. Remix, however, originally had a precise and narrow meaning. The introduction of multi-track mixers made remixing a standard practice. It soon became possible to manipulate tracks by changing volumes or substituting new tracks for samples from old tracks. This process gradually made the term more and more broad, and now remix can be referred to any reworking of already existing cultural work. A timeline of remix can be identified through the evolution of remix in practice, which again shows how remix culture has been growing for many decades and suggests it will continue to do so in future decades. In 1972, DJ Tom Moulton made his first disco remixes, where the trend of using 16 to 24 tracks mixed together started to become evident. By 1987, DJs started to ask other DJs for remixes, where combinations of original material and remix material became more prominent. Around the turn of the century, the term remix was also starting to emerge in other media outside of music realm, such as visual projects, software and literature texts. I found an example on YouTube where someone had created a mashup remix from different Disney classic films, showing how remix has entered other cultural arenas as opposed to just being evident in music.
You hear that, Samson? Beautiful.
Something I found interesting in this week's reading was the idea of remix paradox, where in the realm of commercial music, remixing is officially accepted, whereas in other cultural areas it is seen as violating the copyright terms and therefore constitutes as stealing. So photographers, filmmakers, visual artists, architects and web designers who routinely remix already existing work do not openly admit to doing so. An alternative term that is used to define remix in the art world is appropriation. The term was first used in the 1980s to express the work of artists who reworked old photographic images. The term, however, never emerged from the art world, and I agree with Manovich that the term appropriation suggests copying original artwork, whereas remix is a more suitable term because it suggests a systematic reworking of a source where elements of authenticity are apparent. Manovich also distinguishes the difference between the term quoting and remix. Quoting is the process of inserting original fragments into a source, whereas remix is the process of systematically rearranging the whole text and was made possible by electronic and digital technology, something he refers to as sampling. As Manovich states, music critic Andrew Goodwin defined sampling as the uninhibited use of digital sound recording as a central element of composition. Sampling thus becomes an aesthetic program. In the 20th century, sampling technology, that is, the practices of montage and collage, became industrialized. However, Manovich reminds us that such old terms such as montage and collage can't necessarily be applied in all types of new technology, and can't adequately describe new electronic music. Manovich notes three differences, which are that music samples are often arranged loops. Secondly, the nature of sound allows musicians to mix pre-existent sounds in a variety of ways. And thirdly, the electronic musicians now often conceive their works beforehand as something that will be remixed, sampled, taken apart and modified. To reflect on Manovich's point about electronic and software blending, there are, however, many web applications available on smartphones that allow users to create photo montages and photo collages, such as the apps called PhotoGrid, Montage Lite and PicCollage, which shows how old terms such as collage and montage can be in fact applied to software mashup technology. Remix and sampling became a common practice in the 1980s through the introduction of electronic editing equipment. It first pioneered in music videos and later took off in TV culture. Sampling in other software tools such as Photoshop, where you can cut, copy and paste visual material, had the same effect on the fields of graphic design, motion graphics, commercial illustration and photography. A few years later, with the introduction of the World Wide Web, an electronic document as a mix of other documents saw how remix culture was ever expanding. After reading Manovich's essay, I can disagree with him that remix culture will morph into something else. This module has proved to me that remix culture continues to grow as new electronic technology is constantly being introduced, and that the possibilities of what we remix, and how we share our remixes are limitless. I believe remix culture has a long and exciting future ahead of it. Who knows what types of remix future technology will present to us?